Hello viewers of Kritika's Vision. Welcome to my YouTube channel Kritika's Vision. I hope you have seen my previous video. If not, link is provided in the description box. Kindly go through it. Now let's start with part 2 of Union Parliament. Part 1 we have already dealt and we have even discussed some important questions related to that part. So in this part, the Rajya Sabha will be discussed and the powers of the Parliament will be discussed. So let's start. Now, Rajya Sabha is the second chamber of Indian Parliament. We all know, I have already told you that there are two chambers, two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So, Rajya Sabha is the second chamber. Now, unlike the Lok Sabha, one feature that is there in Rajya Sabha is that it's a permanent chamber. That means it never gets dissolved. It's a permanent body. So, like Lok Sabha gets dissolved, Rajya Sabha never gets dissolved. Okay, so this is one difference between Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Now, coming to the composition. So if we are talking about differences between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, let's take this as one of the other difference between the two. So the Lok Sabha, the composition of Lok Sabha is 550 members. However, for Rajya Sabha, it comprises of 250 members. Now the members fall in two categories. So unlike Lok Sabha, where the members fall in one category of elected members after the amendment where two nominations have been abolished. So now, there are two categories of members in Rajya Sabha. One is nominated and the other one is elected. So, let's first talk about the nominated members. So, there are 12 members who are nominated to the Rajya Sabha by the President of India, and who are those members. So this question often comes that who are those members whom the president nominates. Now these persons are basically those people who have special knowledge or practical experiences in matters such as literature, science, art, music or social services. So basically, apart from politics, there are various other things in society. There is music, there is entertainment, literature, science. From those fields, the experienced people who can add to the Rajya Sabha's discussion if certain kind of bill from their side, their genres bill, their bills from an arena where they have a deep knowledge of it is there, they will bring their perspective in the parliament, in the Rajya Sabha. So with this consideration, they are nominated. Now the principle of nomination enable distinguished persons to have a place in the upper chamber. Now, so as a result, we have like actress Rekha, then civil servant and RBI Governor Dr. Bimal Jalan. Then there are various cricketers and musicians who are part of Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now, these honorable persons are expected to raise issues that only they can do. Okay. Now regarding the allocation of seats, so apart from the 12 members that we are talking about, the rest members are definitely the elected one, the remainder members. So the seats are allocated, the remainder representatives of the states and union territories are given those seats. Now allocation of seats is definitely like in Lok Sabha, it is here also based on population. So to make the process of allocation of seats a democratic one, it is based upon the population. So it's genuine also an area, a state which is having more population will send more members to Rajya Sabha in comparison to a state which has lesser number of lesser population. So for example, again it's given like Uttar Pradesh, highly populated state, it sends 31 members to Rajya Sabha, and on the other hand, if we are talking about places such as Manipur, Mizoram, they send 1 member. So as per their population, and it's genuine, it's okay also. Okay. Now the manner of election, while for Lok Sabha the manner of election was based on universal adult franchise. Everyone above 18-year-old will vote for them and they will be getting elected as per that. Now for representatives of state in the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of Legislative Assembly of each state. Now so already you have done in class 9 that there are two kinds of elections that takes place, direct one and indirect one. So direct, where the people directly go and vote, the individuals above 18, they directly go and vote of India, okay, citizens of India. However, the indirect voting is we vote somebody as a representative and that person further goes and vote for another person who basically becomes the MP of Rajya Sabha. Fine. I hope this much is clear. So because of this, the elected members of Legislative Assembly of State, they go and they vote for the people who become the members of MPs of Rajya Sabha. And this is done in accordance with the system of proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. No need to go in detail about this method. It's just that you should know about it. Okay. Now regarding the effective strength. So while for Lok Sabha right now the elective strength is 543, for Rajya Sabha at present it consists of 245 members, of whom 12 are nominated ones. Fine. Now let's talk about the qualifications for membership. The person must be citizen of India. He must be not less than 30 years of age and must possess some additional qualification as may be prescribed by law from time to time. Now regarding disqualification, they are same as those for Lok Sabha. The person shouldn't hold an office of profit under the government of India. He shouldn't be a unsound mind, undischarged insolvent, or disqualified under any law of parliament. Now regarding the term of the house, the Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved by the President of India. It is a permanent body and hence 1/3 of its member retire at every second year. So basically this makes to be very precise, the term of Rajya Sabha member MP as 6-year term. Now the presiding officer, the Vice President of India, is ex-officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. So by default, because he is the Vice President of India, he becomes the chairman of Rajya Sabha. However, when in consideration where he is acting as a President of India, in that case, Deputy Chairman, which will be chosen among the members of Rajya Sabha, will take his position and discharge his functions. Okay. Now regarding the powers of the Parliament, that is the next thing that we are doing. Yes, powers of Union Parliament. Now regarding the first thing is legislative power. So obviously legislative power is regarded as the power which is related to making of laws. So basically both the houses of Parliament are entitled that they have exclusive powers to make laws with respect to matters which are there in union list, and they share this power of making laws in the concurrent list with the state. Okay. So, however, in concurrent list, whenever there is a tussle between the state and the center as whose law will prevail, then it's the law made by the central government that will prevail. Okay. Now, coming to the next set of power, within that only, next thing is residuary power. So, what are residual power? Residual is something which is left over. So, basically, our constitution is a document which was made many years ago. However, amendments have added many new chapters to it, many new subjects to it, but still there are some subjects which are not mentioned clearly as who will make laws. Okay, so if those subjects like AI or internet comes, then who will make laws? So here the Parliament will make law. Even matters in the state list, sometimes when it's the necessity, when necessity is there, like when the Rajya Sabha passes a resolution by 2/3 majority that a subject in the state list has assumed national importance. So this is very important that whenever the Rajya Sabha sees that a matter which is there in the state list, not in the concurrent, neither in the union list, but it has gained a very important status, then that particular subject can be taken by Rajya Sabha and discussed. Regarding if two or more state desires some bill to be discussed by the Parliament, then also they do. Even ordinances. Ordinances are the temporary laws made by the President when both the houses are not in session, or when the Parliament is not in session, you can say. So regarding that also, both the houses together, they take decision as after they reassemble. They take decision whether that particular ordinance will continue or it will cease to exist after 6 weeks. Now, next is control over finance. Definitely the budget is in the hands of the Parliament. The Parliament passes the union budget. The budget comprises of receipts and expenditure, that is whatever tax the government gets from the people and whatever expenditure the government plans to do in that particular year. So basically the budget is a money bill which get introduced in Lok Sabha. Okay, you know this. Next is, and when it is introduced, there are various questions posed to it. Even there are cut motions, that is one of the power of the parliament, that if executives are quoting some high amount for a particular sector, or that much amount they don't want to invest in that particular field, then the parliament can ask questions and put some cut motions on that money bill. Okay, now next is supplementary grant and vote on account. So basically supplementary grant, like children, when you ask for more sheets in the exam, you are writing the exam, you ask for supplementary sheet. Similarly, supplementary grants are authorized for, like, there's an amount of money which is given to every department to work, right? However, if there is a shortage, insufficient amount happens, and that particular department is not able to work because this amount was insufficient, so they can make a fresh demand for some extra money for their department to work. Now, vote and account is, ideally the budget needs to be passed by April 1, but if it is not done so, then the departments can borrow money. It's like temporary taking of money from the consolidated fund of India. Okay, next set of these functions are the control over executive and administrative affairs. So basically, to control the executive, that is the MPs sitting in the parliament, is also one of the very important functions of the union parliament. Okay, so this they do by various kind of acts. Number one is a question hour, which is also known as interpellation, that is a right to ask questions to the MP. Now we chose the MP, still all of us cannot go and sit in the parliament in any of the house and ask question to them. Okay, because we don't have that much of acumen, knowledge also about a particular topic or a bill being discussed. So then who will ask questions? So on our behalf, our elected representatives will ask questions. This is done during question hour and 0 hour. And this is through which our representatives whom we have elected, they keep the executives on their toes. Next is adjournment motion. So basically there are two kinds of motion, adjournment and censure motion. Okay. Now what are adjournment motion? Adjournment motion basically pinpoints the flaws, it tells about where the government has failed in performing its duty. Okay. So basically adjournment motion, it is a motion which is moved only in Lok Sabha, and it's a motion for adjournment furnishes the opportunity to censure that the act of omission and commission of ministers and administration. That means anything emergency had happened, suppose a civil servant has been killed, or somewhere fire had taken toll of life, then who will be responsible? Then suddenly that particular matter will be discussed in the union parliament. Okay. Next, we talk about the censure motion and the no confidence motion. So basically, these two motion also, they are taken up in the Lok Sabha only. However, there is a difference between this. Now, please pay a lot of attention to this, that in exam, this difference is often asked, and often the students gets confused. So please be very attentive when you are listening to this. Now, censure motion is moved to criticize a particular action or a policy of a government, of a minister. Okay. However, no confidence motion is moved to show that Lok Sabha has lost its confidence in the Council of Ministers. For censure motion, you need to specify the reason, the charges against why it has been issued. While for no confidence, no such reason mentioning is important. For censure motion, it's against a minister or a group or government for a particular policy or action. And for no confidence, it's always against the entire Council of Ministers. Okay. Effective past. Censure motion criticizes the government, but resignation doesn't take place. While when no confidence motion takes place, it leads to government to resign. Okay. So this is these are the differences between the two, censure and no confidence motion. Okay. Next, amendment of the constitution. As I told you, our constitution is a very old document which came into existence in 1950. It was enforced upon us. But what about the various changes to keep up to date with the changing situations? How the constitution will cope up? So then comes this act of amendment, that is making changes in the constitution, modifying it. Okay, so the bill to amend the constitution may originate, it's an ordinary bill, it can be originated in either of the houses. Number one, it must be passed by each house by majority of total membership of the house as well as 2/3 membership of the members present and voting. And if an amendment bill seeks to make changes in some specific matter with regard to a state, then the state legislature's approval is also required. However, one thing that is very important to note here, that such constitution amendment bill are only and only initiated by the parliament and not a state legislature. Okay. Next comes the electoral function. So the parliament also performs the act of electing the dignitaries to their offices. So number one, the parliament elects the President of India. How? Elected members of both the houses of parliament and members of legislative assemblies elect the President of India. Okay. Next, the Vice President is also elected by the members of both the houses of the parliament. And thirdly, the speaker, as I told you in the previous lecture, part 1, that how the speaker is chosen from, like ordinary voting takes place in the house the first day when the Lok Sabha meets. Okay, so this is how their electoral function is carried out. Next is judicial function regarding judgment giving. Judicial comes from the word judgment. So how parliament acts as a judgment giving body. Okay, so number one, the president can be removed from his or her office by impeachment. Now this process of impeachment we'll discuss in detail later on. However, now you can say that president can be removed from a process known as impeachment, and as a resolution accusing the president may be initiated in either house of the parliament. Okay, now this resolution must be passed by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the house, and the charge should then be investigated by the other house. And if the other house also passes it, and so president is found guilty, the impeachment succeeds and the president is removed from his office. Also, the second judicial function of parliament is a judge of Supreme Court or a High Court cannot be removed by the president. Okay, alone he cannot remove it. He need to get a joint address of both the houses. So such address should be supported. That means like both the houses should agree to it. Okay, by not less than 2/3 of the members of the house present at voting. Yes, that special majority is also taken place consideration here. Next, parliament may punish. So this is also a judgmental function, that when parliament may punish a person for obstructing the work of parliament or showing disrespect for the house. Okay. And the last thing that we are discussing is other powers and functions of the parliament. So apart from whatever we have done, legislative, executive, then financial, electoral, judicial, what else? So first is the parliament makes laws regarding composition and powers of the Supreme Court. The parliament may establish a common high court for 2 or more states. Third is the parliament may alter the name or boundaries of any state. There are quite a few states whose boundaries have been altered and name has been changed. So here also the parliament takes the initiative. The new states may be established by separation of territories from any state. Okay, like from Bihar, Jharkhand came like this. Okay, now parliament is a supreme forum where people through their representatives seeks to talk about their grievances or desires. So basically parliament is so important. Why? Because we cannot, like we the citizen of India has the right to vote, but we cannot be present in the parliament to question the executives, their policies which will affect our life in a greater way. So then who will talk on our behalf? It's the parliamentarians, the MPs sitting there who will talk on our behalf. So basically this is the reason why parliament is so important. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture series. I hope you have understood very nicely about Rajya Sabha, about the powers of Union Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha together. In part 3 of the lecture series, we will be discussing about exclusive powers of both the houses and how the co-equal powers also. So kindly stay tuned to my channel even in the coming videos, we will be discussing about various kind of terms related to this chapter, like quorum, president's address, impeachment, all these things, parliamentary procedures, which we have those spoken about but not dealt in detail. So till then, please stay tuned with Kritika's Vision. This is Kritika signing off from this side.